Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Birth Month. And we are talking about Looney Tunes back in action. Back in 1996, Warner Brothers released Space Jam, one of the greatest movies to blend live action and animation. Oh, yeah, some other movie called Roger Rabbit did it before. It's okay. This was good. Disney did it before them, by the way. So everyone's saying how innovative it is for that Roger Rabbit did. Disney was doing it with Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomstick, and Pete's Dragon, all before Roger Rabbit was even a thing. Yes, it was the first time that Warner Brothers and Disney Animation came together, but you know. And we had Space Jam. And after the release of Space Jam, I kept seeing inside Disney Adventures that they were going to make a sequel called Spy Jam with Jackie Chan. What we ended up with was Looney Tunes back in action. And I guess I wasn't aware of how productions work at the time, because I was still waiting for Spy Jam to come out. And when they announced that they were going to do a Space Jam 2, and it wasn't going to be Spy Jam, but they're going to Space Jam 2, they're going to have LeBron James come back, or be the basketball star in this. By the way, this was years before it actually came out, by the way, because it took forever for that movie to come out. I was like, what happened to Spy Jam? So I started looking it up, and apparently, whatever they started with Spy Jam was turned into Looney Tunes Back in Action. But I do not count this as part of the... It's like some people would say, oh, it's a thirst, not a Jumanji movie. Some people say it is because it was written by the same guy, did Jumanji, but it's not really. This is not really in the continuity of Space Jam, although there is nods to it, but no. The movie stars Brendan Fraser as DJ Drake, a stuntman slash security guard who gets fired and ends up on a mission, finding out that his dad is a secret agent and has to find something called the Blue Monkey and stop the chairman of the Acme Corporation, played by Steve Martin, from getting his hands on it. To be fair, I don't know how a spy movie with Jackie Chan and the Looney Tunes were translated, but I don't know. I've always enjoyed this movie for what it was. So, one thing to note, this movie was directed by Joe Dante. You will know due to the several cameos we have in this. There are cameos from people who have been in his films, like the twin brothers who play the Warner Brothers. Robert Picardo has a cameo. And of course, every Joe Dante needs the cameo of Dick Miller, rest in peace, who is another security guard on the premises of the Acme, the Warner Brothers lot. So, yeah. Joe Dante has gone on record saying that this movie was heavily changed by the studio. Heavy studio interference with this movie. They changed it. They have a different opening, a different ending. There's some stuff in between, and they were taken out. And, yeah. A lot of it actually makes sense when you look at some of the deleted stuff. But as we're going along, we'll get into it. So, the movie opens with the traditional rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, duck season, duck season, fire thing. And it all turns out that they're reading a script, and Daffy is fed up with being shot at it all the time, so he raises a big huff about it and ends up getting fired by Kate, who is the vice president there. He gets fired, and this is when we meet DJ Drake. Oh, a stuntman. And he's a stuntman, but also a security guard, because he can't hold on to parts. He's trying to, make his way, And he is ordered to escort the duck out, but there is an incident where Daffy gets loose, and he chases Daffy through the production of a Batman film being directed by Roger Corman. And I'll tell you right now, I saw this, I'm like, is that Roger Corman? No, I rewound it. No, it is him. It's a cameo from Roger Corman. But I'll tell you right now, the bat suit that Batman is wearing and the look of the Batmobile would not be in the budget for a Roger Corman film. Roger Corman is very much known for doing cheap, budgeted films. Hell, he did the original Little Shop of Horrors in 48 hours, I think it was, that he did that movie. And reused old sets to do it. So I don't think that quality of suit and that quality of Batmobile would be... I don't think he'd have the budget to even take on a Batman movie. Roger Corman. But, okay. But in trying to get Daffy accidentally turns on the Batmobile, which is an active car, which is not what it would be on a movie production. It would be a stunt vehicle that wouldn't automatically work like that, but whatever. It hits the Warner Brothers water tower and floods the place. And so J.D. Drake gets fired. Or DJ gets fired. And we go back to his house and finds out he lives with his father, who is the actor Damian Drake. And it's here we find out that Damian Drake was actually a secret spy who contacts his son and tells him he has to go to Las Vegas to find Dusty Tail to talk to her about something called the Blue Monkey. We get introduced to our villain way too early here, but it is the chairman of Acme, played by Steve Martin in a redhead wig, and his bodyguard, Mr. Smith, played by Bill, don't disrespect legends, Goldberg. Before the disrespecting legends part. This is 2003. He was in WWE at this time, wasn't he? Or was going to be in WWE at this time? This was 2003, so around then. Meanwhile, Kate gets in trouble because she fired the duck and now there's no point to the joke. It doesn't work anymore. So they fire her, the Warner Brothers fire her, but she gets 24 hours, which she doesn't get him back in 24 hours, or no, by Monday. That's right, by Monday morning. So I'm assuming it's over the weekend. So by first thing Monday, she has to bring Daffy back. So she tracks down J.D. Drake, or DJ Drake. I'm thinking of Workhorseman J.D. Drake. DJ, they just call him DJ. DJ's already left his house with a gremlin, and the gremlin's theme plays, because Joe Dante directed Gremlins. And he's already taken off, and then the secret spy car popped out underneath. Daffy, for some reason, thinks this hatchback gremlin is a spy car, but it's not. And so Kate and Bugs, well, we get a Psycho parody because the kids would know what that was. I would have, by the way, at the time. But this is 2003. I was 15. So, yeah, of course I would have known what it was. I knew what Psycho was, I just never saw it at the time. I got the reference. He uses ink instead of... It's ink or chocolate syrup, one of the two. And it's in black and white, Gus Van Sant. Anyway, they get in the spy car and take off. And the spy car, Bug starts hitting buttons, and it pours them a carrot martini, shake it not stirred, because Timothy Dalton was James Bond. And then it changes their clothes, I guess. They get to Vegas, and by the time they've gotten there, Mr. Smith has shown up in his paid-off Yosemite Sam. And, of course, he has the Western thugs that are there that we've seen in Bugs Bunny cartoons before. Interestingly, the one characters that aren't used that could have been used, Rocky, and, what's his name? The Hey Rocky, that guy. Shit it. Them, they could be used. They weren't used. They're not used. You see other characters like Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear show up for a cameo in Paris. Elmer Fudd is there. Yosemite Sam. There are a bunch of dogs playing poker, including the sheepdog. Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner show up. We even get a quick cameo from the singer about the Moon and June and Springer, Owl Jolson. It is a clip of the cartoon, though. It's not really the character per se. Peter Lorre, The cartoon Peter Lorre shows up for a cameo. But we can't get Rocky and whatever, I forget his. Maybe they're too obscure. They were in a coloring book that I had as a kid. They're not that obscure. Even Porky Pig shows up here and there, or shows up at the end. He does have a cameo in it. There's a whole thing where everyone's having lunch, a bunch of Warner Brothers characters, and it's here we get the cameo that everyone remembers from this movie, and it's Matthew Lillard having lunch with Shaggy and Scooby, and Shaggy, as voiced here by Casey Kasem, has been yelling at him for his performance in the Scooby-Doo movie. You better not mess it up in the sequel, man. My Shaggy voice is more of the Scott Innes version. Man! And then the Zoinks. Like, okay, Scoob. Like, my Shaggy is like, ruh-roh. I'm good at the Scoob. My Shaggy is more like that one. Because it's when I started doing it when I was watching Zombie Island and those movies. So I know that's Billy West. But he also does it in he also does the voice in Witch's Ghost, but still. Well, harder, more better. Anyway, so they get to Vegas, and Yosemite Sam has been hired with the big old thing of treasure to stop them, apparently. So we meet Dusty Tail, and it's Heather Locklear, who sings a gender-bent version of what I know as a Backstreet Boys song, but it could be, they could have done a cover, because there's some covers on the NSYNC album too, the first one they did, Everything I Own, I Would Give Everything I Own, Sailing, there's one more, but so this could be a cover the Backstreet Boys did, but I know it from the Backstreet Boys, where they sing, if you want it to be good, girl, get yourself a bad boy. Well, here, she sings, if you want it to be good, boy, get yourself a bad girl. A family picture. Yeah, it's a kid's movie, and she's all sexy like. It is Heather Locklear. But still, so DJ has to dress up like a Yosemite Sam dancer to get her attention and tell her that he's Damien Drake's son. And then talk about the Blue Monkey. She gives him this card, which is the Queen of Hearts with the Mona Lisa's face on it. But Yosemite Sam and his guys break in, and they have to have this big old chase that culminates in them running out because their car basically breaks down. They run off. We got a Jeff Gordon cameo for some reason, only for Yosemite Sam to take his car, a race car. They're on foot. They ran off on foot, and you're going to go after them in a race car. Okay, sure. But they literally crash into the other two who are in the spy car, and they get in, and they drive off. And they're in this chase. They send location to Mother and end up crashing in the desert. I do like when the car goes like this, it stops, and Bugs goes, what do you know? Add a gas, and it fades out. And then you just hear Kate go, that's not how it works. And it fades back in, and it crashes. Looney Tunes, man. So the one thing you're going to notice in this movie is that, we'll get to it. We'll get to it, I guess. So now they're walking through the desert. They're stuck, trying to figure out where to go. And so DJ comes up with the idea to go a certain direction because that's where the spy car was going. They come across the Walmart, first of all. It's not a Mirage. It's a 2003 Walmart. And all it does, they get new clothes and water. I don't know what it's a shameless plug. Even Bugs says as such. But so then JD keeps going one direction. The fight, he says it's because that's where the car was going, but he literally flipped the coin and went, we're going that way. I don't know. And he ends up walking. They do stay overnight somewhere, but that's after they crash, I guess. They're walking into what's an invisible wall. You get air conditioner in here. And so it's like it's this whole place. And they meet up with Joan Cusack, who is mother, who tells them that they're in. And I can't believe this happened for 2 movies in a row. They're in Area 52. They mention Area 51. They're like, oh, that place doesn't exist. It's all for those people who make up cookie conspiracy theories. This is Area 52. I'm like, oh, Jesus. When they said Area 51 and it says all made up, I'm like, don't do that joke. Don't do the joke. I know you're going for it. Don't do it. Area 52. Yeah. And you might notice some things. Robbie the robot, Danger Will Robertson. Danger. He's there. There's a brain I think it's from the Tingler or something. A couple of Daleks from Doctor Who are there. Yeah, and Marvin the Martian, who is called in by the chairman. By the way, I'm skipping a bunch of the stuff with the chairman because it serves no purpose. They keep cutting back and forth to the chairman. The only one thing is the scene where he gives us the exposition that he wants to use the blue time in to turn everyone into monkeys, so that turn everyone into monkeys to build his Acme products to turn them back into humans to buy the products. Yeah, this is Looney Tunes. Yeah. So that's the only real cut back. There's a little subplot where he's in love with a woman named Mary and doesn't really go anywhere, but I don't know. So Mother explains that the card is like a window to the something or other. I don't remember exactly what it is. But they finally noticed the Mona Lisa. I like this gag because after Marvin Martian breaks out, they get out. And they're like, we have to go to Paris. How do we get to Paris? And like this. And Bugs just pulls up the screen and they're in Paris. Why the hell couldn't you do that before? Why now? They're in Paris, so they go to the Louvre. And they look at the Mona Lisa. And there's another guy I like from the chairman. We'll get to it. But, so they realize the back of the card is like a little visor thing. You can see through, and it shows a map of Africa. They get blue monkey down in Africa. I don't know where that came from. When he tries to take a picture of it, but Daffy jumps in the way, but I don't let his face is in the way. But then Elmer Fudd shows up, and he's now a villain, I guess. I'm secretly a bad guy. And he chases them down. This is a pretty cool chase as they chase through the different paintings, taking on the art style in each painting. That's pretty cool. Meanwhile, DJ and the girl don't run away. Instead, the girl gets kidnapped by Mr. Smith for some reason. I mean, he walks all through Paris carrying her in a bag and no one does anything. With DJ chasing after her. Here's a gag. He gets some gadgets, but they're from Mother, but they're clearly not the top spy gadgets, so they're kind of shoddy. So he tries to rocket pants and the pants just fly off and he steals Papa Bear's shorts and then finds his way up. He has to buy a ticket to get to the right and makes it up the top. There's a deleted scene here. I'll tell you here where he's throwing souvenirs at him, but it doesn't do anything. I'll talk about the other stuff in the end, but uh, now having the picture, the camera with the picture on it, which, why didn't he just steal the camera and leave her behind? I don't know. Because now he throws her off the Eiffel Tower, and DJ jumps off the Eiffel Tower, and so they're both falling. He uses a grappling hook that's in a cell phone to land right in a cafe where Bugs and Daffy are waiting for them. Okay. Yeah, so now they gotta go to Africa. So, yeah. And this is the other gag I like from the chairman. The chairman goes to pull up the map, and Daffy's head's in the way. He goes, "Get rid of the duck! Get rid of the duck!" And he throws it at the screen, and the screen breaks into little pieces. And he goes, "Oh." I like that. Steve Martin is a funny man, but this character reminds me of Devlin Bowman from The Massacre of Disguise, because there's a gag where every time he laughs, he doesn't fart, but he almost falls over. He goes, like he almost falls over and he stops himself. He never does of it. The gag should be leading to him falling over, but he doesn't. No. So the guys get to Africa. The gang gets to Africa, and there they run into Granny, Tweety, and Sylvester, who are DJ's neighbors. Now, I'm very confused at this. Much like with the whole Brett thing at the end of Zolar. We'll get to it in a minute. So, they take an elephant. We get another great gag from Bugs. They take an elephant on the journey all the way to the temple, and they go, "What a great view." And Bugs goes, "Except for the folks at home watching, who only see an elephant's behind." That's pretty funny. Because that's all we do see is an elephant's behind. Elephant's behind for the last 30 seconds. That one, yeah. So, Granny and them let them go off, do whatever. They've put together a little puzzle thing. And eventually they find the blue monkey. DJ gets turned into a monkey and then gets turned back by Daffy. And then Granny, Tweety, and Sylvester show up and reveal themselves as the chairman, Mr. Smith, and Taz. Yeah. The chairman also reveals that he is Damian Drake. No, not really. He's Michael Jordan. What? No, he's the chairman. And it's literally just a screen grab of Michael Jordan from Space Jam when he goes, "Let's run some drills. It's just, it's a cameo. And before you say, that means they're in the same universe, this movie has broken the fourth wall so much it no longer exists. So, no, they're not in the same universe. No. So, the chairman now has the blue monkey because he's going to kill his dad if he doesn't give him the blue monkey. And then Mr. Smith turns into a female Taz, and both she and Taz get married and run off together. Yeah, I don't know. And then they teleport back to the Acme Corporation, where everyone has a little mixed up. Like the chairman has the bunny ears, and Brendan Fraser has the teeth, and yeah. Then he fixes it, and this is where he says he's going to. You give me the thing, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to kill your dad. And he's like, he's got a train to catch. He's like, no, and we get a big thematic thing where Marvin is going to use the blue monkey and the satellite to turn everyone into monkeys. So Buzz and Daffy go after them, while the other two are tied up, but eventually are able to get free and save Damian Drake. And they introduce each other, and this is Kate, and she's like, I'm a big fan of your son. Now you might be saying, I've seen the movie, and they don't have very good chemistry. Well, we will get to that when we get to the deleted scenes, we'll talk at the end here, because there's a lot that was changed in this movie. And I agree with one change in particular that I feel worked, but the rest of them should have stayed in here. But so Bugs and Daffy try to take down Marvin, but Bugs gets taken out. So Daffy turns into Duck Dodgers, and takes out Marvin, and eventually the chairman gets turned into a monkey and is arrested. And then, as they're walking off, it's revealed that this is all a movie. And real Brendan Fraser is there, and DJ punches him in the face. I smell a lawsuit. And, yeah, there's a gag where Bugs says, "We're going to be treated like equals, Doc," and then takes off and leaves him there. He almost gets hit by a light, but then gets hit by the circle, and then Porky tries to do that's all, and it lights turn off. He's like, forget it. And the movie ends. Yeah, I don't know about that ending. Now, the fourth wall-breaking ending, it's a little stupid. So, let's talk about the deleted scenes before I get into my rating. Okay, the first was the deleted opening, in which it's a Daphne action film that casts Daphne as like a Batman-Superman combination of sorts, fighting a giant robot piloted by an evil clown-looking Elmer Fudd. That leads into the opening where they're at that table, and the Warner Brothers dismissed this idea because you can't turn Elmer Fudd into a clown villain. Admittedly, I think this would make him the Joker, right? That's dismissed. There are several scenes that continue the love story between DJ and Kate. One in which that explains why they have no chemistry. It was intentional, because during the scene where he introduces her to his dad, he says, "Hey, this is Kate. We have nothing in common. We have there's nothing, and we know each other very well. We don't get along, and we have nothing in common." And she goes, "I think it could be love." Yes, that works so much better. But the ending. So the opening is the only thing that I agree with the change on. The ending, it's a little bizarre. They don't go back to the Acme Corporation. Instead, most of our characters are turned into primordial versions of themselves. Kate's turned into a cave woman, even though we already seen DJ turn into a monkey. She's turned into a cave woman for some reason. Boggs is turned into a cave rabbit, and in this version, Mr. Smith does not turn into a female Taz. He is forced to leave because he gets a break, so he has to clock out, and that's a lot funnier than him turning into a female Taz. There is no male Taz. Tweety is still there, which makes it confusing, because did they still use the disguises of Granny and Sylvester? DJ has the diamond and is going to use it on someone. Who are you going to do? He's going to be. And he shoots it at Tweety, who dies and falls off the little cliff, but turns into a giant pterodactyl and eats the chairman. And he said, "But that's all, folks." Yeah. I like that. I can't assume to how the movie would be cut then. When they really say cut, and then they walk off and they do the introduction. "Hey, this is Kate," and as his dad wasn't there though, so that's my only question: is how would the dad get rescued? Unless in the other version he wasn't. He was brought there, maybe in that version. I don't know. But it's a better ending. I'll give this a very high, middle of the road. It's not as good as Space Jam, but I wouldn't mind watching every once in a while, But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Looney Tunes Back in Action? And what happens? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I was Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.